Yeah, what's up, guys? I'm back with another video today. Uh, we're just gonna do a story time, basically about my stint in Puerto Rico. Back in April of 2018, when myself and my NCCC team had to respond to Hurricane Maria and Irma, because I believe they were going on roughly around the same time, and they both storms affected the island. Um, at this time, Puerto Rico got hit with like two earthquakes, two Category 5 hurricanes. I mean, it was literally terrible, devastating. Like, it was insane. So, um, I was based out of the Iowa region. Um, and for some reason, I just knew that that year I was going to go to Puerto Rico. I just knew. So, why this moment is so bizarre. So, for starts, they had it where we had to keep it a big secret. We couldn't tell any other team or the other staff members that we were going to Puerto Rico for some reason. I don't know. Maybe they thought that they would get jealous and complain or say, say something or, whatever the case may be, or feel like it's unfair that we were the only team from that region to get to go. People were like, oh, it's because they got a Spanish speaking girl on their team and, yada, yada, yada. I don't think that completely had anything to do with it because there was plenty of AmeriCorps and CCC members that could speak Spanish. So I didn't understand that. But anyway, we get to Puerto Rico. We are on an island off of San Juan called Vieques. Still Puerto Rico, but it's just off the island. You have to actually get on a ferry from the mainland San Juan to get to this area. Um, I just want to say, first of all, the traffic situation in Puerto Rico was insane. Like, there was no power on the island at this time, right after the storm had hit. So, there's no stoplights, there's no none of that. I don't know if like they just banned the traffic laws at this time. That's basically what they did because like people was just driving however they wanted to drive. Um, Bro, it was like every day I thought we were gonna like die in an accident or something because it was just like that bad. We got in three accidents our time there, and like things like using it. I don't think we could use like credit cards or inside of stores and shops. The electricity wasn't working sometimes, or they were powered by a generator, and we just couldn't use credit cards. We had to use cash. So that was just another little thing. And also like with the generator situation, there was like a ordinance that you had to follow. Your generator could only be on for a certain amount of hours during the day. Couldn't be on overnight. So you got to think about like as Puerto Rico is hot, it's a bunch of bugs, and it's freaking bro, it sucked. Our sponsor, her name was Vicky Mitchell, and she was very humanitarian base. She's been doing it all her life. And I know that she was saying her father or someone had just passed, so she was going through a lot, but she was still at that time trying to get Puerto Rico back on track. And, she would just do little things like, I wish I could remember how, like, the rivalry between our team and her started, but I just know it started off with, like, little things like her wanting to do things a certain way and it would be against our rules. In CCC, we have to go by specific types of rules for safety and for all kind of other reasons. And, we just can't break the rules or we'll get trouble or, fined or whatever the case may be. So, I remember one situation where she said we allegedly had taken an opportunity away from her. So I remember this day pretty well. I know one of my teammates, Marge, had got third-degree burns because of the heat. The heat was just so bad. Like we were on a rooftop, we were sealing roofs, we were repairing rooftops. So we got this like ceiling paint, and we're painting the rooftops with rollers all day long in like 110-degree weather. She had third-degree burns on like her neck and arms and legs and stuff, and it was really bad. And we had left something. I believe maybe we left a ladder or a can of paint or something like that at the house where she lived. By the way, I forgot to mention we were living with her. So she had this house, this 2-story house. She lived upstairs. We stayed downstairs. We all shared rooms. I think it was probably like 3 people to a room or something like that. But anyway, She basically, we left something. She had to bring it because we really needed it that day. And she kind of like was spazzing out on us and was like, I can't be missing calls like this. Apparently, it was like some type of loan opportunity, and she missed the call because she had to go help us. And I'm like, lady, like we're literally dedicating most of our time to helping you out and helping this community. Like you shouldn't be bashing us. Like we came all the way from our homes to come and do this shit when we could have been doing anything else, literally. So she was just kind of like, oh, yeah, I missed out on a $50,000 loan to repay houses, and you guys are messing up people's lives because that could have went to a family, all kind of shit. So anyway, we weren't really stunting it, we weren't really paying no mind to it. We didn't give a fuck. We gave a fuck, but like we thought the way she handled it was a little unprofessional and unnecessary. So started off with stuff like that. We had this guy. She has a staff member. His name was Raul. Chillest guy, like the coolest guy. He was from Puerto Rico. He's been doing construction all his life, and he used to actually help the shit out of us sometimes. Like whenever, because we're not completely experienced at this point. This is still early on, so we're just trying to get the work done. He would always come and help and do things, and she would like come to the site and spy on us and like be like, Raul, you're not supposed to be helping them. They're supposed to be doing it on their own. That's what they have job to do. They don't deserve to have your kind of help, and saying little stupid shit like that. So again, we're just trying to be professional, and I'm guessing what had happened is our team leader and the sponsor had gotten into some argument that I was just not present for. So basically, our unit leader said we're just gonna do away with her specifically. We just weren't gonna work with her. That was her nonprofit organization. It was called Hope Builders. Hope Builders Puerto Rico. And so basically, we had to pack up, leave our house, yada yada yada. We had to go to the mainland. This is another part of this bizarre story. So basically, we get to San Juan and we're in this neighborhood called Calle Luisa. So it's a pretty populated neighborhood, much different than what we were used to before because it was, it was off of the island. It wasn't it wasn't heavily populated. You'll see a couple people. It was kind of like the country compared to, when you're in a city and stuff like that. So, we're in this neighborhood. We're in this house. Pretty decent house. It's a couple different units, but it was doable. It was definitely an upgrade from dealing with Vicky crazy ass. So, this week there happened to be a anti-immigration protest going on. I don't remember the exact details of it, but something to do with Ethiopians coming into the island and taking over and taking jobs and, shit like that. And I guess there was like a protest going on to like ban them from coming or something along those sorts. So how this ties into me and my bizarre experience is because I used to go outside a lot, exercise, walk, run, jog, talk on the phone. What I'm assuming was there were people who were watching me or something. I don't know where they were at. I never saw really anybody outside. Like I didn't notice anybody like peeping on me or anything like that. And I'm pretty good with spotting stuff, but I didn't notice. Again, we're in a whole nother fucking, it's still a part of the U.S., but Puerto Rico feels like a whole nother country, the way things operate and the police and shit like that. By the way, speaking of the police in Puerto Rico, I forgot to mention something. On our way back from when we left Vicky's house to the city, San Juan, because, racism and things like that, our team leader, she was white, she was blonde, sometimes depending on places that you go and services, especially dealing with the ferry, they'll make you wait longer just because of what your skin color is or how you look or because you're a white girl or something like that. Some places were like that. So you had to be very cautious about it. But basically, that little story was we all had our tickets. There was, I think, 6 or 7 of us on the team. We all had our tickets to get on the ferry to go to San Juan. But also we had a rental vehicle. We had a van. And that needed a separate ticket to go on the back of the ferry. Also, because we're going to need a car while we, obviously we're going to need a vehicle. So, they let us get our van on, and then left us stranded on in Vieques without our car, and the car went first. And for some reason, the guy told our team leader, he was like, "Nope, your car can go first, but you guys gotta wait because I want to get my people in." When he says my people, he's basically saying like the damn Puerto Ricans that's there, like fuck y'all motherfuckers, or fuck her at least. I don't know. So that was that little situation. I just forgot to throw that in there. But anyway, back to what I was talking about originally. So anti-immigration protests going on. I guess people were watching me or whatever. They saw me in the neighborhood somewhere or maybe at the park. I don't know. And I very rarely told the story to anybody, but, um, so I must say things did feel a little weird. I felt like something was weird going on in the neighborhood for sure. Because one morning when we were supposed to go to site, before we left to go to work, I went to the grocery store that's literally right down the street. Walk like 6 minutes. I went there and I was buying I think some fruit, like like a little fruit, that's already prepared in a little carts or whatever, the little basket, and a Gatorade. And so that's all I went to get. I just wanted something to eat before we went to work. Got that, and I go to pay, and the woman is like, "May I see your ID?" And I said, "I don't have it on me. I left it at the house." And I was already on a time crunch because we're getting ready for work, and I didn't want to walk to the house, go get my ID, and come back to present it to her just to buy freaking fruit and a goddamn Gatorade. Like, what do I need to show you my ID for? It's not alcoholic beverages. I was confused. I thought she was just being a bitch or something. I don't understand that. And she was just like, so I was like, you really cannot sell me this unless you see my ID. She was like, yes, there's an anti-immigration protest going on. So that's when I found out about that was going on. I didn't see what the hell that had to do with me, but I was just like, okay, whatever, maybe security precaution. Hell if I know. I ain't from Puerto Rico. I don't know how they operate. So there's that. I was just like, fuck it. Whatever. I went back to the house and got some shit that we had in our fridge already. Cause the lady would not let me purchase it. So a few days later, my team leader pulls me aside. I don't know how long it had been. It could have been like, honestly, like 3 or 4 days since that incident had happened. I really don't remember. But I know that it was a weekend. I know that it was the weekend when she was telling me this information. So she pulled me aside. I'm thinking like, what the fuck now? Like, what have I done? Like, what am I in trouble for now? So she pulled me aside and it says, I wanted to talk to you about something. There was some gentleman that came to the house and basically was saying that they're having some sort of welcoming Ethiopian party going on, and they wanted to invite me to the party. And I was like, what? Like, this sounds like a joke because you don't expect to hear some shit like that. So I'm just kind of like, okay. I was like, this kind of random as hell. So like specifically me, like not the whole team, just specifically me. Mind you, I was the only black person on this team this year. I was the only black person on that team. So with my first team during my second term of NCCC. I know that's confusing, but people who've done AmeriCorps understand what I'm saying. So basically, I was just kind of like, okay. And she was just like, after further review and things like that, I guess whatever conversation she had with them. Again, I was at the house, but I did not answer the door because we were split up in different units. So there's a first unit, and that's like the living room, the kitchen, the bathroom. And then there's like the bedroom unit. So for the girls and then for the guys. So I was in my unit, I'm assuming, not even aware that this is happening. And, basically after further review, they talked with the unit leader and they, based on the conversation that they had with the guys and how sketchy and weird they were being. Turns out it was some niggas from like, I don't know, the fucking local gang or mob or mafia or cartel. I don't know what is considered there. But, trying to, human trafficking type shit that I'm assuming that's one of the methods that they were using to keep Ethiopians out of Puerto Rico. Also, I'm not Ethiopian. I don't know why they thought that or how they just came up with that. Like, I don't know how the hell you just gonna assume somebody's Ethiopian. My skin was a lot darker than it is now just because of the mere fact that we were working in like 110-degree weeks. So I was like black as hell, like charcoal black. Like I was dark. I don't know if maybe that's why they thought it, or maybe they ain't never seen me in the neighborhood, but that's what the fuck they came up with. So, basically, long story short, I got put on a housing restriction, so they would only let me leave the house with someone else. I couldn't go out for a walk. That everybody know me. That's my thing. Like I have to go out for a walk every single day. Every single day, I have to go for a jog or something. I have to go outside. So first, and I like doing that alone. I don't want nobody with me. So like the fact that I had to always have somebody with me, like, was driving me crazy. And how I felt at this time, I don't know how I really felt. I was just kind of like, that's so fucking random and weird, and I thought it was silly. Not really knowing how serious of a situation that could have been had I been the person to answer the door to them instead. But anywho, yeah, that was one of the restrictions, and then the other restriction, I had to be back by a certain time, and there was something else that I just can't remember. I'll probably mention it if I remember during the video, but during the recording. So there was that. So I was just kind of like annoyed with the whole thing. So I would just basically just stay in the house when we didn't have to go to work, because I was fucking miserable. Like I couldn't go outside. I was annoyed as hell that was even happening. And then I didn't feel comfortable completely going outside anyway, because I'm like, bro, like, like if some niggas come up with some shit like that, you ain't, you gonna be feel a little sketchy. So, that was basically that situation. To wrap that up, we ended up getting pulled from the project. I know that had something to do with it. I think once I like told my team leader Maya about other things that I thought was weird that was going on, like the grocery store incident, I think that's when they went into further review and decided that they were just going to pull us from the project. I don't know if that was the only reason. I think some of the reason also had to do with the previous sponsor, and things just weren't working out. But that was pretty much that situation, man. It was kind of crazy. It took me like months to actually process that, and when I went back and thought about it, I was like, oh shit, that was kind of wild. But at the time, I didn't think it was that crazy, just because I just, that was the first time that ever happened. But yeah, man, that was some bizarre shit, bro. You gotta be careful when you're traveling. But I do want to say, I just appreciate my team leader for, kind of having my back and whatnot, like not letting them know that I'm at the house. Because when they asked, was I home? They told them no. And, just kind of, having my back a little bit. I thought it was kind of weird that they waited so many days to tell me. Like, maybe it didn't register how serious the situation that could have been. But I was just kind of like, I've been outside like all week, bro. Something could have happened. I could have got jumped or kidnapped or, fucking taken or some shit, like attacked. I don't know. Like, why did y'all tell me? Like, I don't know. I just felt like they should have told me a little bit earlier, not 4 days later. Anything could have happened within that time, and I had no clue that this was even happening. But nah, I don't know what their conversation was, so I don't know if they saw how serious it was. But that's pretty much all I wanted to add. And thank you guys for listening to my story time today. Feel free, like, comment, subscribe, and give me ideas, other things that I can talk about. I can talk about like what's going on in the world. I prefer not to talk about politics. Anything personal life, you can ask me. So stay tuned and have a great freaking day.